All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a look at a YouTube video all about Revelation chapter 9.
Oh, okay.
The one with all those trumpet judgments.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
They can be a little intense, right?
Definitely.
Well, this video creator actually connects these ancient prophecies to what's happening in the world today.
Interesting.
And they don't hold back on the visuals either.
Okay.
We're talking burning mountains.
Wow.
Demonic locusts.
Uh-huh.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, the imagery in Revelation can be pretty wild.
No kidding. So what were your first thoughts when you saw this video?
Well, I mean, it definitely grabs your attention, right?
For sure.
Using all that vivid imagery and symbolism.
Yeah.
It's very typical of apocalyptic literature, though.
I can see that.
And for the original audience, early Christians facing persecution,
right,
it would have been a really powerful message.
Absolutely. So let's break down those 7 trumpet judgments.
Okay.
The video kind of walks us through each one, and they definitely escalate pretty quickly in terms of impact.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how so?
Well, the first 4 trumpets, they bring all these disasters like scorched earth.
Oh, wow.
Poisoned waters.
Seriously?
Yeah, a darkened sky.
That's intense.
It really paints this picture of a world in chaos, you know?
I see. It's like building up to something.
Exactly. And it all leads up to that 5th trumpet.
Okay, and what happens there?
That's where things get really interesting.
Right.
We're talking terrifying locusts being released from the abyss.
Locusts.
Yeah.
Like the insects.
Well, yeah, but not your average garden variety pests.
Oh.
These are something else.
Okay, what makes them so different?
Well, the video describes them having human faces.
Human faces.
Women's hair.
Wow.
Lion's teeth and scorpion tails.
That's pretty terrifying.
Oh, it's straight out of a nightmare.
So what do you think the video creator is going for with that imagery?
I think they're trying to show just how different these locusts are. How they represent something truly otherworldly.
Right, a disruption of the natural order.
Exactly. And the video also emphasizes the sheer terror they inflict.
I bet.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They only target those who don't have the seal of God on their foreheads.
That's interesting, the seal of God.
It's kind of like a mark of protection, you know?
Okay.
And it really plays into this idea of spiritual preparedness.
Right, being ready.
Which is a big theme throughout the video.
Makes sense.
It suggests that those with faith are protected during all this chaos.
That's a comforting thought for some, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
But it also raises some questions, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what about those who don't have that seal? What happens to them?
That's a good question, and one that the video definitely explores.
I'm curious to hear more about that.
Me too. And that kind of brings us to the main point of the video.
Okay.
Connecting all of this to what's going on in the world today.
You mean like current events?
Exactly.
That's a bold claim.
It is. The creator points to things like natural disasters, political unrest, moral decline, all as evidence that we might be living in the end times.
I mean, there's definitely a lot going on in the world right now.
There is. It's hard to ignore.
So what specific events does the video highlight?
Well, they draw parallels between the plagues in Revelation and contemporary issues like pandemics, climate change, social divisions, things like that. And it's interesting because those parallels do seem to resonate with a lot of people.
They do, but it's important to remember that interpretations of Revelation can be subjective.
Oh, absolutely.
What one person sees as a sign of the end times.
Right.
Another might just see as part of a natural cycle.
Or even a historical trend.
Exactly.
So you're saying it's important to be discerning?
Yes, definitely.
Not to jump to conclusions, but to consider different perspectives.
That's really key when dealing with something as complex as Revelation.
I agree. It's easy to get swept up in the sensationalism and miss the bigger picture. Now, the video also delves into Revelation 12.1 true.
Okay, the one about the devil being cast down to earth?
That's the one.
Filled with fury, knowing his time is short?
Exactly.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
I remember that one.
And the video uses this analogy of a caged lion being released to represent Satan's influence on the world.
That's a pretty striking analogy.
It is. It really captures that sense of urgency and danger.
Right. Like something's unleashed and there's no going back.
Exactly.
It makes you think about the forces at play in the world. You know?
It does. It makes you wonder what role we play in all of this.
For sure.
So if we're in this cosmic battle, what are we supposed to do about it?
That's the big question. Right?
It is. And the video has a clear call to action.
Like what?
They're urging viewers to be prepared for the second coming of Christ.
Okay. And how do they suggest people prepare?
Well, the emphasis is really on personal faith. and the importance of having a relationship with Jesus Christ.
So it's more about internal preparation than external.
Yeah, it's less about stockpiling supplies or trying to decipher hidden meanings.
I see.
And more about making a conscious choice to align yourself with good, with God.
That's a powerful message.
It is, and it really speaks to the heart of what the video is trying to convey.
That makes sense.
So strengthening your faith, deepening your connection to your values, and living in a way that reflects those beliefs.
Sounds like a recipe for a meaningful life.
It does, doesn't it?
It's interesting how they frame it as a battle, though, this cosmic struggle.
Yeah, that's a strong image.
It makes you think about the choices we make every day, you know?
Absolutely. Every choice matters.
It does, and sometimes it feels like those choices are between light and darkness.
Exactly, and this video really drives that point home.
Well, they've certainly given us a lot to think about.
For sure.
It'll be interesting to see where they take this in the rest of the video.
Me too. There's a lot more to unpack here. It's like they're saying that by strengthening our faith and living by those values, we can actually resist those negative influences that might pull us in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like we're building up a kind of spiritual immunity.
Right, a resilience.
Exactly.
It's interesting, that idea of inner strength.
Yeah.
Being more resilient in the face of challenges.
Absolutely.
It comes up a lot in spiritual traditions, doesn't it?
It does. And the video really leans into those visuals from Revelation.
All right.
You know, the locusts, the darkened skies, the bottomless pit.
Yeah.
To drive home this message of urgency, like a wake-up call, you know?
I think those images can definitely be attention-grabbing.
They are.
And maybe that's part of the point.
Right.
To shake us out of our complacency.
To get us thinking about the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And, you know, even if we don't interpret Revelation literally, I think there's still a lot we can take away from its symbolism and themes.
Oh, absolutely.
It really makes you think about your own beliefs.
Yeah.
Your values, how you fit into the universe.
It's a powerful text.
It is. And it challenges us to confront those forces of darkness.
Really?
Both within ourselves and in the world around us.
That's a really important point.
But ultimately, even with all that darkness and tribulation, Revelation offers a message of hope.
Absolutely.
There's this promise of redemption, a new beginning.
It's a message that resonates across cultures and time periods.
It does. And this video frames it as a crossroads moment, you know?
Like a choice we have to make.
Exactly. A choice between aligning ourselves with darkness or light.
That's a powerful way to put it.
It's almost like a now or never kind of message.
It's definitely a sense of urgency there.
Right.
But even without subscribing to a specific timeline or belief system, I think we face those kinds of choices every day.
How so?
In the way we think, speak, act.
Okay, I see what you mean.
It's about making those conscious choices.
Yeah.
To live a life that aligns with our values.
Choosing kindness over cruelty.
Exactly.
Choosing hope over despair.
It's those everyday choices that really matter.
That's where it all comes together.
It's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's about taking those big ideas and putting them into practice in our daily lives.
Now, the video's creator is clearly convinced that time is running out.
Yeah, they talk a lot about the second coming of Christ.
Right, and the need to be ready. So how do you approach that kind of interpretation?
Well, it's a common theme in apocalyptic literature.
Okay.
This sense of impending doom.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not so much about pinpointing an exact date for the end of the world.
I can see that.
And more about living a life that aligns with your values.
Here and now.
Exactly.
Making the most of the time we have.
Leaving a positive impact.
Those are things we can all strive for.
They are, regardless of our beliefs.
What would you say to someone who resonates with this message of staying watchful, but maybe doesn't identify with a Christian worldview?
I think the core message transcends any specific religion.
Okay.
Being prepared, being spiritually aware. It's about cultivating that inner strength.
Right.
Connecting to something bigger than yourself.
So it could mean exploring your own faith tradition.
It could.
Or maybe trying spiritual practices like meditation.
That's a good example.
Or just committing to a life of integrity and compassion.
Right. Finding what gives you meaning and purpose.
And letting that guide your choices.
Exactly.
Now, the video also talks about the signs of the times.
Oh, yeah. They point to things like natural disasters and political unrest.
Right. As evidence that we're in the end times.
It's natural to look for patterns, you know.
It is.
Especially when things feel uncertain or scary.
But everyone interprets things differently.
That's true.
What one person sees as a sign, another might just see as part of a natural cycle.
Or a historical trend.
So it's about being a critical thinker.
Absolutely.
Not jumping to conclusions.
Or engaging with information thoughtfully.
Yeah.
Avoiding the hype and sensationalism.
Finding that balance.
That's key.
It's easy to get caught up in all these big ideas about, end times and prophecies, but how do we actually apply this idea of staying watchful to our everyday lives?
Well, I think it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Being aware of what's going on around us in the world, but also what's happening within ourselves.
So like our thoughts and emotions.
Yeah. Our reactions to things.
Being mindful.
Exactly. Checking in with ourselves.
To see if our actions are matching our values.
Right. Making conscious choices.
Instead of just going through the motions.
Exactly. Breaking free from that autopilot.
And the video talks about resisting temptation. Choosing good over evil.
It's not always easy, though.
No, it's not. It takes effort.
It does. It requires self-awareness.
And recognizing those moments where we're being pulled in different directions. Yeah, those crossroads moments where we have to decide which path to take.
The video also emphasizes prayer.
Yeah.
And connecting with God.
It's a common theme.
How does that fit into this idea of staying watchful?
Well, in a lot of spiritual traditions, prayer is about cultivating that relationship with something greater than yourself.
So seeking guidance. Finding strength.
Yeah, expressing gratitude.
In this context, it's about staying connected to that spiritual center.
Yeah.
Finding clarity in all the chaos.
Exactly.
It's almost like finding that stillness.
Yeah.
Amidst all the busyness of life.
That stillness is so important.
It is. It gives us that space to reflect.
To reconnect with our inner wisdom.
So we can make choices.
That align with our best selves.
The video talks a lot about being ready for the second coming of Christ.
It's a central idea.
How can we apply that?
Yeah.
Even if we don't believe in a literal second coming. I think the message at its core is about living with purpose.
Okay.
Recognizing that our time is precious.
Making the most of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Living each day to the fullest.
Making choices we can be proud of.
And leaving a positive mark on the world.
Absolutely. Embracing the present.
But also thinking about the legacy we leave behind.
Now, the video uses some pretty powerful imagery to get its point across.
Yeah, the locusts, the bottomless pit.
It can be a little intense.
It can. And I think they're playing on our fear to some extent.
So how do we balance that sense of urgency with a healthy perspective?
That's where discernment comes in.
Okay.
Recognizing that fear can be a motivator. But it can also be used to manipulate.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is.
Yeah.
We have to be critical thinkers.
Question our assumptions.
And not get swept up in the drama.
So, staying informed.
But not letting fear control us.
Finding that balance.
Between awareness and peace.
It's a good approach to life in general.
I agree, no matter what your beliefs are.
It sounds like there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
About faith, purpose, the choices we make.
It's a complex topic.
We encourage you to take what resonates with you from this deep dive.
And leave the rest behind.
What did you find most insightful?
For me, it's that idea of staying watchful.
Yeah.
But not just looking for signs in the world.
Right.
But cultivating that awareness within ourselves.
Connecting with our values.
Making conscious choices.
Living a life that reflects our best selves.
That's the real challenge.
It is.
And the real reward.
We always encourage you to keep exploring these questions.
Absolutely.
Read the Book of Revelation.
Think about its message.
See what insights emerge for you.
It's a journey of discovery.
It is.
And it's different for everyone.
That's the beauty of it.
It is. Thanks for diving in with us.
Until next time, keep seeking truth.